A California woman being very careful with her engagement ring now.
40 knives, the horrifying contents of an Indian policeman's stomach.
Can you imagine that during a routine checkup, the doctor discovers something unexpected inside your body? For more than a century, X-rays have been a crucial tool for detecting fractures and bone injuries, but sometimes they reveal much stranger surprises. Imagine going to the hospital for a simple routine exam, and what the doctor finds in your X-ray isn't a broken bone, but something completely out of the ordinary. From swallowed batteries to mysterious magnets, X-rays have uncovered some of the most unusual findings that medicine never would have expected. In this video, we will explore 15 of the rarest things discovered thanks to this innovative method. Get ready to be surprised by what's hiding inside the bodies of ordinary people. Number 15. Nail in the head. Dante Ullo, a 32-year-old man from Illinois, was working in his garden building a shed when an accident changed his life forever. Using a nail gun, a common tool in the construction world, Dante never imagined that a stray shot could bring him to the edge of death. In an unfortunate move, a 3.7-inch nail shot directly into his head. Although at first he thought the nail had only grazed his scalp, he soon began to feel dizzy and unwell. His co-worker, seeing his condition, quickly took him to the hospital. An X-ray revealed the terrifying truth. A large nail was embedded in Dante's skull, just above his ear, in a position that could have caused irreversible brain damage. The doctors decided to transfer him to a brain injury center where emergency surgery was performed. The surgeons successfully removed the nail, but the damage was already done. Part of his skull had to be replaced with a titanium mesh. Although Dante miraculously survived without severe brain damage, the trauma was significant. When Dante saw the X-ray, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. The image clearly showed the nail embedded in his skull. Fortunately, the nail didn't penetrate further, thanks to the robustness of his skull. This, combined with prompt medical attention, was key to his survival. Dante recovered well after the surgery, and his friends and family considered him a medical miracle. What's incredible is that although nail gun injuries are common at construction sites, head injuries are much rarer. However, they can be deadly if not treated in time. This case highlights a real and often overlooked danger in the construction environment: the improper use of nail guns. Although construction tools may seem harmless when used properly, they can cause serious or even fatal injuries if not handled with care. Dante's case is a clear reminder of the importance of workplace safety, using proper protective equipment, and above all, seeking immediate medical attention after any accident, even if it seems minor at first. Number 14. Hairpin inside a child's kidney. Curiosity is a fundamental trait in children, but when not properly supervised, it can lead to dangerous situations. This was the case for a 4-year-old boy in Saudi Arabia who swallowed a hairpin while innocently exploring his surroundings. However, what seemed like a harmless prank turned into a complex and risky medical situation. At first, the parents thought the child might be suffering from a urinary tract infection, UTI, since he complained of sharp pain in his abdominal area and showed typical symptoms of a UTI, such as a burning sensation while urinating and low fever. After several rounds of antibiotics with no improvement, they decided to take him for a more specialized consultation. It was at this point that an X-ray revealed the presence of a strange metallic object in his abdomen, a hairpin. What seemed like a simple curiosity turned out to be a serious medical challenge. A detailed examination showed that the hairpin was not only in the abdomen, but had passed through the digestive system, puncturing the child's right kidney. The danger was evident. The hairpin had migrated through the duodenum, the first part of the small intestine, and over time had lodged in the kidney, posing a risk of severe infection and damage to internal organs. The risks of internal perforation are huge. In this case, the presence of a rusted foreign object inside the kidney could have caused heavy metal poisoning or a septic infection, both of which carry a high risk to life. Fortunately, the doctors were able to successfully remove the hairpin in a surgical procedure, and the child made a full recovery without lasting complications. However, this story underscores how unpredictable children's curiosity can be and how crucial it is to pay attention to any changes in the health of young ones, especially when a rare cause is suspected. Number 13. Can stuck in the rectum. Strange accidents, although often humorous in other people's stories, can have serious consequences when it affects one's health. In this case, a middle-aged patient at a hospital in Europe experienced an episode that started as severe abdominal pain and ended in a complex surgical operation. The man, whose identity was not revealed for privacy reasons, arrived at the hospital with intense pain in his lower abdomen. Initially, the doctors suspected a possible intestinal obstruction or appendicitis, but the radiographic studies revealed something far more unusual: a metal can deeply lodged in his rectum. The doctors were puzzled, as there were no signs of an obvious obstruction or external trauma, which made the situation even stranger. Although rare, these types of incidents are more common than one might think. Objects inserted into the body can cause blockages, infections, perforations, or bleeding, and must be treated quickly. In this case, the can was so deeply embedded that it not only caused abdominal pain, but also posed a risk of perforating the intestines and causing peritonitis, a severe and potentially deadly infection. Had the situation not been addressed in time, the internal damage could have been devastating. The surgeons performed a delicate operation to remove the can without causing further damage to the patient's intestines. The procedure was complicated due to how deeply the can was lodged, but fortunately, the medical team managed to avoid additional complications. After surgery, the patient made a full recovery. This case highlights the importance of acting quickly in such unusual situations, as internal damage from foreign objects can be fatal if not addressed promptly. Number 12. Battery ingestion. In a strange and alarming case that occurred in Ireland, a woman suffering from intense abdominal pain and constant vomiting decided to go to the hospital. What the doctors found in her X-ray left everyone stunned: 55 batteries trapped in her stomach and intestines. The woman had accidentally swallowed these batteries, although some reports suggest she may not have realized how dangerous it was. The batteries, of various shapes and sizes, were scattered throughout her digestive system, causing massive damage to her internal organs. The risk of infection, bleeding, and intestinal perforation was extremely high. Fortunately, the medical team reacted quickly. The surgery to remove the batteries was complex and lasted 3 hours. During the procedure, the doctors discovered that the batteries had perforated parts of her stomach and intestines, which had caused severe inflammation and a high risk of sepsis. Although the surgery was successful, the aftermath of this strange incident was significant. The damage to the woman's internal organs caused severe complications such as tears and infections, meaning the difficulties did not end with the removal of the batteries. In the long term, this woman may face chronic digestive problems due to the damage to her intestines. This case underscores the dangers that can sometimes go unnoticed with common objects, such as batteries, which can easily be accidentally ingested, especially by children. Number 11. Scissors and surgical tools. What happens when laughter turns into a life-threatening situation? For Lin Kong, a 27-year-old man from China, the answer was tragic and strange. While enjoying a meal with friends, Lin used a pair of nail scissors as a toothpick. Everything seemed fine, until in the middle of a joke, Lin laughed so hard that he accidentally swallowed the scissors. At first, he thought they had just gotten stuck a little, but when he tried to cough to dislodge them, the scissors slipped deeper into his throat. The pain quickly intensified, and soon Lin found himself in a serious situation. Upon arriving at the hospital, an X-ray revealed what was happening. The 10-centimeter scissors had lodged dangerously in his esophagus, near his epiglottis, which could have caused a blockage of the airway. To make matters worse, the doctors couldn't use general anesthesia due to the risk of the scissors slipping even further. After a tense 30-minute procedure under local anesthesia, they were able to successfully remove the scissors. Fortunately, Lynn only suffered minimal internal scarring and recovered well after the incident. This type of accident seems incredibly rare, but it is not the only case where tools and strange objects end up inside the human body. In Australia, a woman named Pat Skinner spent more than a year suffering from unexplained pain after surgery. Eventually, an X-ray revealed that a 17-centimeter surgical scissor had been left inside her abdomen during the operation. The hospital admitted the error and offered an apology, but Pat pursued legal action, and the incident highlighted the importance of proper supervision during surgical procedures. Such medical negligence is not only a severe violation of patient trust, but can also have devastating consequences. In Lynn's case, the fact that the scissors could have moved into the airway is a very real risk that could have resulted in choking or even death. Additionally, surgical errors like the one with Pat also underscore the need for greater attention and control in medical procedures to prevent foreign objects from being left inside our bodies during surgery. Number 10. Swallowed cell phone. The most surprising case on this list involves a 33-year-old man from Kosovo who presented with severe abdominal pain and was quickly hospitalized. After an X-ray was taken, doctors discovered that the man had swallowed an entire mobile phone, a Nokia 3310 model, one of the most iconic and durable phones of its time. For reasons that remain unclear, the man had swallowed the phone without realizing the associated risks. The hardness of the phone, being a metal and plastic device, further complicated the situation as the digestive system began to break it down under the pressure of the stomach, splitting it into 3 pieces. Fortunately, this made surgical removal easier, but the most concerning issue wasn't just the phone itself, but the battery that had detached and was freely floating in the man's stomach. Mobile phone batteries are extremely dangerous if released inside the body. If not removed quickly, the batteries can leak toxic chemicals, such as lithium and other hazardous compounds, which could lead to severe poisoning or perforation of the stomach walls. The risk of chemical exposure was real, and the doctors acted swiftly to safely remove both the phone and the battery before irreparable damage could occur. The lead surgeon who handled the case shared images of the surgery, X-rays, and the phone's pieces extracted via social media, highlighting the unusual and risky nature of the situation. Despite the extreme circumstances, the man made a full recovery, though this incident underscores the potential dangers of swallowing unusual objects, something that seems to be increasingly common in today's world, where gadgets are present in all aspects of daily life. Number 9. Steel marbles and magnets. Haley, an 8-year-old girl, was playing with her magnetic blocks, unaware that the fun would turn into a medical emergency when she swallowed several pieces, including magnets and steel marbles. What seemed like an innocent game quickly turned into a terrifying situation when Haley started complaining of intense abdominal pain. Her family, concerned, took her to the hospital, where X-rays revealed a shocking image. 20 steel marbles and 10 magnets had lodged in her stomach and intestines. These objects were causing multiple tears in her organs, putting her life in grave danger. The doctors acted quickly, performing delicate surgery to remove the dangerous objects. During the operation, it was discovered that the magnets were interfering with each other, creating an attraction effect that was damaging the intestinal tissues further. The surgery was successful, but the situation had been extremely serious. After spending 2 weeks in intensive care, Haley was finally discharged, but her family made sure the incident didn't go unnoticed. They decided to take legal action against the manufacturer of the mega brand's magnetic blocks, resulting in the recall of more than 4 million defective toys from the market. This case highlighted the dangers of poorly designed toys, especially those with small pieces that can be ingested without parents realizing the risk. Although Haley's family was grateful for her recovery, this event left a lasting impression on public awareness about child safety and the responsibility of toy manufacturers. Number 8. The engagement ring. What began as a strange dream quickly turned into a nightmare for Jenna Evans, who ended up swallowing her engagement ring while sleeping. Jenna Evans, a future bride from California, had an experience as surreal as it was dangerous. In a vivid dream, she believed she was swallowing her engagement ring to protect it from sinister figures. However, upon waking, she was horrified to realize that she had indeed swallowed her ring while asleep. After the initial shock, Jenna and her fiancé, Bobby Howell, rushed to the emergency room. The X-ray revealed the reality of the situation. The ring was indeed in her stomach. The doctors decided not to wait for the ring to pass naturally and opted to perform an upper endoscopy to safely remove it. Fortunately, the surgery was successful and the ring was recovered without damage. Jenna and Bobby laughed off the incident, although Jenna swore she would never let something so strange happen again. The ring, which was supposed to be a symbol of their commitment, would now also serve as a peculiar reminder of their future wedding. Number 7. Utensils in the stomach. Imagine going to the doctor for abdominal pain, and after having an X-ray, the doctors discover something completely unexpected: cutlery. This was the terrifying reality for Margaret Dolman, a 52-year-old secretary from the Netherlands whose stomach had become a storage place for forks, spoons, and other utensils. Why? Because Margaret had a rare condition known as pica, a psychological disorder in which individuals have an irrational compulsion to eat non-food objects. Her stomach, instead of being filled with food, was filled with cutlery. It wasn't that Margaret occasionally swallowed a fork by accident. Rather, she had developed an uncontrollable urge to consume utensils. Whenever she felt the impulse, she would simply swallow them. Throughout her life, Margaret had visited the hospital several times, but had never revealed the truth about what was happening until the pain became unbearable. When the doctors saw the X-rays, they were stunned. They couldn't believe that 78 pieces of cutlery were lodged inside her stomach. Fortunately, she underwent surgery to remove the utensils, and with the appropriate treatment, Margaret made a full recovery. However, the story doesn't end there. In a similar case in India, a man named Yogesh experienced an equally surreal situation. Yogesh, who also had pica, had been swallowing spoons, nails, and even screwdrivers. For months, he had suffered from severe abdominal pain, but doctors couldn't find the cause. After several tests and misdiagnoses, an X-ray revealed that his stomach was filled with stuck spoons. In total, 63 spoons were found in his stomach. Yogesh had to undergo emergency surgery to avoid further damage, such as intestinal perforations or internal bleeding. Fortunately, the surgery was successful, and although the doctors had to remove the utensils one by one, Yogesh is now in the process of recovery. These cases make us reflect on how the strangest and seemingly harmless compulsions can have very serious consequences. Pica is a real psychological disorder affecting some people in puzzling ways. Although the cases are rare, the fact that such dangerous objects can remain in the body undetected for so long highlights the importance of paying attention to unusual signs from our bodies. This disorder can be life-threatening, and recovery depends not only on surgery, but on addressing the underlying cause that triggers it. Number 6. Bottle and steel cup in the abdomen. In two strange incidents in China and India, two men decided to insert objects into their bodies for equally baffling reasons. But the X-rays showed that the consequences were far more severe than they had anticipated. In Fuzhou, China, a man began experiencing severe abdominal pain not understanding why. When he sought medical attention, the X-rays showed something unusual, a bottle trapped in his abdomen. What was most surprising was that the man admitted he had inserted the bottle himself. However, the problem didn't end there, as he had attempted to remove the bottle using a hook wire, which resulted in the wire also becoming stuck in his stomach. Doctors had to perform surgery to remove both the bottle and the wire. During the operation, they discovered that the wire had perforated his stomach in several places, complicating the surgery. Despite the risks, the medical team was able to remove both objects, but the injuries caused by the wire left the man with severe complications. In a similar incident, in the SAA district of Madhya Pradesh, India, an elderly man underwent an X-ray after experiencing stomach pain. The X-ray revealed a metal cup trapped in his digestive system. The man had been persuaded by unqualified individuals to insert the cup into his body with the promise that it would relieve his stomach discomfort. Both incidents highlight the dangers of attempting non-medical home remedies, as well as the risks of inserting objects into the body without professional supervision. Doctors had to act quickly in both cases, and although the surgeries were successful, the decisions made by these men reflect the dangers of following unprofessional advice and making dangerous decisions out of desperation. Number 5. Spoon in the throat. Sometimes challenges among friends can lead to unexpected and dangerous situations. This man discovered the harsh reality when he swallowed a spoon during a challenge, not imagining the consequences. A man participated in a challenge among friends in which he was supposed to swallow a spoon. What seemed like a harmless joke turned into a serious, life-threatening risk. After completing the challenge, the man continued his life without any major issues. However, a year later, he began experiencing difficulty breathing, a symptom he initially didn't understand. Believing the problem stemmed from a recent blow to his chest, he went to the hospital for medical attention. There, an X-ray revealed the shocking truth. The spoon he had swallowed a year ago was still lodged in his throat. To everyone's surprise, the object hadn't moved through the digestive system as food typically would, but had remained stuck in his throat. This posed a serious health risk, as it could have caused infections or blockages in the airways. The medical team, led by an experienced surgeon, acted quickly to perform emergency surgery. During the procedure, the doctors carefully removed the spoon, which was covered in mucus due to its prolonged stay in the body. Thanks to timely intervention, the man's life was saved, although the incident left a significant psychological mark on him, as he now approaches any type of challenge or dare with caution and an assessment of its risks. This case highlights how dangerous it can be to not reflect on the potential consequences of challenges between friends, and how an apparently harmless act can have much more serious implications than imagined. Number 4. Grenade. In a dramatic turn during the conflict in Ukraine, a Ukrainian soldier took an extreme and highly dangerous approach. He swallowed a hand grenade with the intention of using it as a human bomb. The X-ray showed that the grenade was completely intact inside his stomach. The idea behind this risky act was that the soldier intended to become a human bomb, something he thought he could do as a last resort in his desperation. However, the soldier made a critical mistake. By swallowing the grenade, he deactivated the safety pin, which made the situation even more dangerous. The X-ray was revealing. The explosive device was clearly visible in his stomach, and the military doctors knew that any mistake could result in tragedy. To complicate matters further, the medical team couldn't use conventional methods, such as heat or cauterization, due to the risk of detonating the grenade. Instead, the surgeons had to work with extreme precision, using specialized techniques to ensure that no movement would trigger an explosion. The lead surgeon, Andre Verber, oversaw the operation along with a team of combat engineering and explosives experts. The procedure was carried out under maximum security conditions, and the operation to remove the grenade was successful. The soldier survived without serious injuries and was discharged after a successful recovery. Although extremely rare, this case highlights both the desperation in some war situations and the skill and bravery of military doctors in high-risk environments. It also shows how modern technology, such as X-rays, can save lives in such extraordinary circumstances. This incident also raises questions about human behavior in wartime and the extreme decisions some individuals may make in their search for survival or to complete a mission. Number 3. Light bulb in the anus. Sometimes embarrassment can hinder the search for appropriate medical help. This man faced not only extreme pain, but also an extremely embarrassing situation, leading to one of the most unusual extractions. A 53-year-old man arrived at a hospital in Colombia with a red face from shame and significant physical discomfort. Despite the evident pain in his posterior, he couldn't bring himself to explain his problem. Initially, the doctors didn't know what was going on, but an X-ray revealed something surprising. A large light bulb was lodged deeply in his rectum. The diagnosis left the professionals baffled as they began to assess how to proceed with the removal of the object. The doctors knew that if the process was too challenging, they might need to perform a more invasive surgery under general anesthesia. However, the risk wasn't only from the difficulty of removing the light bulb, but also from the danger of suction. If the object got stuck, it could move deeper, causing serious damage to internal organs. The surgeons decided to perform a delicate operation to extract the light bulb without breaking it inside the body. Thanks to meticulous medical attention, the procedure was successful. Although the man was finally able to rid himself of the light bulb, the shame lingered, and many doctors were stunned by the strange nature of the case. This case demonstrates how important it is to overcome embarrassment and seek medical help in such delicate situations. Fortunately, the man did not suffer serious injuries, but his experience could have been very different if he had waited longer or not sought medical help in time. Number 2. Swallowed jewelry. The story of Joseph Bravo Ramos takes a strange turn when a robbery and a routine X-ray in prison reveal an attempt to hide jewelry in a very dangerous way. After being arrested for driving a stolen vehicle in Safety Harbor, Ramos was subjected to a routine X-ray before his transfer to Palos County Jail. The results shocked both the medical staff and authorities. Ramos had swallowed 2 gold necklaces to hide them from the police. Although his attempt to creatively hide the jewelry might have seemed clever, the consequences for his health were serious. The necklaces became trapped in his stomach, which could have caused blockages or perforations. The doctors had to perform surgery to remove the necklaces, which were completely tangled. The X-rays, typically used to detect drug or weapon contraband in prisons, had never shown anything like this before. Besides facing charges for the stolen vehicle, Ramos also had to deal with the consequences of his risky attempt to hide the loot. The stolen necklaces were returned to their rightful owner, although she likely thought twice before wearing them again after such an unusual journey. Number 1. Knives in the stomach. The compulsion to ingest objects can have fatal consequences. A 40-year-old man experienced the extreme results of a strange obsession with swallowing knives. For 2 months, a 40-year-old man had been swallowing knives. This incomprehensible behavior endangered his life and baffled the doctors who treated his case. The reason behind this strange act was unclear, but the doctors suspected the man may have been suffering from a serious mental disorder. When an X-ray was performed, the doctors found something truly terrifying. The man's stomach was full of knives. The finding was alarming for several reasons, as the knives were not only dangerous due to their sharp edges, but some of them were bent, others open, and several were rusted. All of this greatly increased the risk of perforations or internal bleeding. The medical team, led by Dr. Jenda Malhotra, an experienced surgeon, began an extremely complex surgery. After 2 days of planning and preparation, the operation began, lasting more than 5 hours. The team had to be incredibly precise to avoid damaging the stomach or surrounding organs. One wrong move could have caused massive bleeding or a fatal perforation. Finally, after much effort, the doctors were able to remove the 49 knives from the man's stomach. Some of the knives were completely bent, others broken, and some were rusted, which increased the risk of infections. Dr. Malhotra suspected that this man may have had an undiagnosed mental disorder that led him to perform such dangerous acts. This case underscores the dangers of the compulsion to ingest objects and the importance of treating psychological disorders that can lead to such extreme behaviors. Had it not been for timely intervention, this man might have died without receiving immediate medical attention. In Mandi, India, another man presented an equally unsettling case, but this time it wasn't knives. In his stomach, the doctors discovered a wide variety of unusual objects, including 7 spoons, 2 toothbrushes, 2 small screwdrivers, a knife, and a metal rod. After complaining of abdominal pain, he was taken to the hospital where an X-ray was performed. The surgical team, led by Dr. Serge Parage, found that the tip of the knife had perforated the stomach lining. Despite complications, the surgery was successful, and after more than 4 hours, the man was stabilized and discharged. This case, though less extreme than the previous one, also highlights the dangers associated with ingesting non-food objects. The incident in India shows that swallowing foreign objects can be equally dangerous anywhere in the world. The doctors, although accustomed to complex cases, are still surprised by such dangerous and perplexing behaviors. In conclusion, although these incidents are strange and shocking, they also teach us about the vulnerability of the human body to the unexpected and the need to act quickly in extreme situations. Health professionals play a crucial role in saving lives, even under the most unusual circumstances. Thank you for taking the time to explore these fascinating cases. See you next time.